We are.
So when they ask in the end, do you have any questions for me?
Mm-hmm.
They almost always ask this. I mean, this is, I'd say 90% of the time plus, unless you're totally out of time.
Mm-hmm.
First thing, be respectful of the time. If you have 2 minutes left, say, hey, quick time check. I only have 2 minutes left. I have a question I can ask, but I just want to be sensitive. Sometimes they'll say, yeah, sorry, I have a hard stop. Or sometimes say, oh, I can go over. But always good to check that. To answer this, there's a couple you want to avoid. One is the questions that you ask just to look impressive. Like, hey, I noticed in your 10K report this and that and the other thing, and it's like, I don't know, I'm in HR, I don't know what you're talking about. So you don't want to ask a question that like puts them on the spot.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't even know how to answer that question, because interviewers want to feel like they're doing a good job too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, oh, I was able to really answer that question. Great. And when you ask a question that almost feels like a gotcha question, like, hey, look how smart I am, I did all my research. Yes, check, you did your research, but you didn't research enough to realize that I would have no idea how to answer that question.
Exactly.
So you want to avoid those questions. The other ones you want to avoid is like questions that you can ask after you have an offer. Like, hey, do I really have to come in on Fridays? Or,
it's like asking
like
someone to marry you too quickly.
Yeah,
it's just too fast.
Yep. Just questions where it's like, look, there's ways to find out answers to that, but maybe after you have an offer in your hand, then ask those kind of questions. So the way I think to answer this is to ask a question you're genuinely interested, a business question you're genuinely interested in, related to the job that the person is qualified to answer. And so it could be something like, hey, as the vice president, you have a big influence on the culture. Can you just tell me about what things you try to do to set the culture in your organization?
Yeah.
You can say, hey, can you tell me about what you feel like someone that is really successful in this organization? What are some of the key attributes that this person has? Tell me about some of the biggest challenges coming up. Do you think in your business, and the things that you're most excited about, what the biggest opportunities are? So these are questions that are interesting, that they're qualified to answer, shows you're interested in the business. And they're definitely in bounds. They're not going into the crazy land of, hey, so can I get a raise after the first 3 months? Or, just some questions where they're like, no, not a great question,
There are 30 possible resume mistakes stopping you from landing interviews. And please, whatever you do, don't submit your resume to another bot who won't listen. As a top resume service, we've helped thousands of job seekers. And with our expert eye, Let's Eat Grandma will transform your resume into a job-winning masterpiece. Don't wait. Submit your resume to Let's Eat Grandma now for a free critique.